that oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, that's just what I want to say.
Yes, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the session is being recorded as well. Yeah.
Okay. Just as a disclaimer, once again, the section is being recorded. To have a recording of the section beyond the ones on live stream, we would be sharing with your email being provided. We can send you directly the recording of the section so you can get to practice some of the things that was did on the section. I hope that is fine. All right. Without much ado, I would like to read through some of the details of the people you will be discussing with within the section. Generally, before I begin that, I would like to tell you a bit about Intelinavis. We are a new company here in Aberdeen, and what we do majorly is we offer trainings on data analytics. We are also looking over time to broaden into other field, but just now we focus more on offering data analytic courses from Python, Java, Power BI, Tableau, Excel, and list others. You can always go to our Facebook page, Intelinavis Careers, and you would be able to see the details of this there. However, this section or this masterclass generally will go on for the next 2 weeks, and it is entirely free. Within these two sections, you would be able to walk through different processes from building an Excel portfolio or an Excel analytics from scratch generally. We are going to also be building a project in Excel today, while for next week we will be trying out something else through Power BI and all the platforms. Also, we will be trying a bit more automation today, and that is some of the things we would be working on generally today. So I will was beside you so you can go through each of the sections with us, practice everything that is being said, and get the best of this section. Again, we will not be able to take everybody's question in the section. However, we would be leaving 15 minutes after the section for questions. So please drop all of your questions you have, anything you're struggling with within the section. Please drop it in the chat box there, and we will be able to take that and give feedback during the question and answer section. If you can hear me clearly, I would sincerely appreciate you drop a thumbs up, something just to ensure we are out of sync. Am I clear? Am I audible enough? Can you hear me? Great, thank you all. So I would be reading through the details of the host today. This section will be anchored by two people. Generally, we have Mr. Anthony Mbata, and then we have Dr. Yakub Balogun. I will be telling you a bit about each of these persons so you get to know them and get to know what they would be dealing with, or pretty much what they will be talking about in this section. So I will start with Dr. Yakub Balogun, who would generally be taking you through today's class. Dr. Yakub Balogun is a part-time lecturer at the Robert Gordon University. He's currently engaged as a data analyst with one of the top companies in the UK. He's also an independent consultant on data and analytics to private and public institutions here in UK and in Nigeria. He's also a development coach and a career coach as well. So if you're looking to get a job in data analytics, wondering how you can pivot your journey after taking a master's in business analytics or data analytics, how to get your first job, he's your go-to person. And then he also have over 10 years experience offering a combination of data analytics and project management tasks, while offering profile project management technologies in diverse field. He also have hands-on experience and leadership across academia, oil and gas, health, and environmental data, as the case may be. Now, something very particular or peculiar about this person is that he was one of those people who supported in offering analytics of the COVID-19 data. I'm sure a lot of us saw information about COVID-19 in the UK and it was readily available. This was one of the persons that supported in making that project able or readily available. So that would be it for Dr. Yakub Balogun. And the other person you will get to be speaking with within this section will be Mr. Anthony Mbata. Mr. Anthony is a PhD researcher in data and engineering, including machine learning. He's currently a data analyst with one of the companies that I know very well. And he's also an independent consultant, and he pretty much works with both the private and public institutions. Within the last 20 years, he has been able to mentor a lot of business analysts and data analysts alike, while offering high-profile projects within the oil and gas, health, and financial services industry. So that would be it about these two people who would be speaking with you today, majorly. Mr. Mbata would not be doing so much. He might just come in and introduce himself. But we would be opening the floor just now for Dr. Yakub Balogun, who will be taking you through this first masterclass. Is going discussing generally the impact of using Excel, introducing you to building dashboard from Excel, walking you through hands-on project and something you can actually add to your portfolio as a business analyst or a data analyst person. So Mr. or Dr. Balogun, please, you have the floor.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was a good one for the introduction. Yeah, I want to welcome everybody to the session this afternoon. As he has rightly said, Dr. Yakub speaking here. And it's my pleasure to have you here. And today what we'll be doing is I'll take you through some slides. From slides, I'll take you to the web, just look through some web pages, and then we'll go and do something which is going to be more like hands-on, as it were. So we're going to try to work together to really build a particular dashboard. And like somebody would say, you need to start with the end in view. So I want to start with the end in view for today's session. So I'll show you what it is that we're intending to achieve at the close of the day. So at the close of today's session, we hope to build this dashboard. If you just let me know if you can see the dashboard that I'm sharing just now, that will be very good. So this is a sales dashboard for an hypothetical company, and the name of the company here is IntelliNavis. Now, you all understand that IntelliNavis is not a sales company, so why training company right now? But I've just used the logo there to show you something. So this is very simple. It's kind of basic, but some of the advanced features of dashboarding has been implemented in this, and this is what we're going to look at. So say for instance, you're working as an analyst in whatever firm, wherever company, wherever organization, and you're expected to be able to give some of the data-driven decision insights and suggestion to stakeholders and maybe management, and you're expected to summarize all of these things in a kind of dashboard. So you have something like, and this is very interactive, you see. So as you see this right now, if I'm going to zoom in and say for the beverage brand, I want to see only Fanta. If I click on Fanta, you see how everything will just update to accommodate only Fanta in the dashboard. So it's going to be for only Fanta, so you can see what happens to just Fanta. Now, if I say I want to see for Fanta and Diet Coke, for instance, so I can say Fanta and Diet Coke, and it will adjust accordingly. And you can see the total sales that we've got for this period, what's the total units sold, the operating profit, as well as the margin. And then you can also look at the geography as well. And this is United States. So you can see exactly which region of the US is selling better than the other. Now, well, you might say, okay, I want to keep all of the beverage, but what I want to understand is this. As a company, we've got different retailers. And I'm the lead analyst, or I'm just an analyst here in this company, and we need to be able to evaluate which of our retailers are performing more than the other. Now I've got this as well. So I can say, I'm going to try Dreamco. Let's see how Dreamco has been doing. Now you can see how Dreamco has been doing. And then I want to try how this other one has been doing. So this is what we call an interactive dashboard. Now, in the first situation, we're going to be doing this with Microsoft Excel, because the fundamental of everything we're doing in this space is going to be Microsoft Excel. And that's exactly what we're starting from. I was reading an article recently about a guy that's working in the space and has developed something very nice using some very advanced tools. And he said, the unfortunate thing is that he had to actually repeat what he has done with some advanced tools, because some of the senior stakeholders that need to feed on this information, they are not used to those fancy tools. They want Microsoft Excel. Now, why am I telling you this thing? Is because the foundation, the basis of everything is Excel. So this is one thing that we're going to do. So I just want you to see this and have an idea that at the end of the day, you will know how this is being designed, how this is being done, and how everything, they're all interacting together. Okay, now let's try to go and let's take ourselves through some slides today. Let's take ourselves through some slides. Right. So now let's go fully to today's discussion. Now I'm going to give you a general overview of what I want to discuss. I'm going to spend roughly 20 minutes or less than 20 minutes. I'll take PowerPoint slides for 20 or less than 20 minutes, and then I'll spend a lot more time to build that dashboard, to listen to you, to try to see how much every person can kind of understand what we'll be talking about with regards to the dashboard. So I'll first of all take an overview, and then I'll give you a trend of what the analytics space looks like just now. And then I'll tell you some of the things you need to know if you plan to transition to analytics, or even if you're working just now in the field and you want to get better at it. And then we're obviously going to look at the analytics jobs climate, what is always happening and what's the reward. And for that session, I'm not going to be doing PowerPoint slides. I'll take you to the internet and we're going to see what exactly it is out there. Then we'll do the demo. For the demo session, we're going to Microsoft Excel and we're trying to look at this dashboard thing and see what we can manage for ourselves. And after that, I'll tell you more about IntelliNavis Careers, what we do, and I'll be able to obviously take questions. The first thing I always like to talk about in a session like this is these two kind of person. We've got the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And it's very, very critical that you ask yourself some certain questions and know exactly where you belong. If you belong to this area of the growth mindset or the fixed mindset. And if you're here, my point of the slides is to be able to tell you why you need to come in this region. If you're here, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. This is exactly where you're expected to be to gain from this session. Now, who is this guy on the fixed mindset? This guy feels I'm either good or I'm not good. Well, it's just who I am. And that's a lot about predestination. You believe that's who you are, that's how you've been created. Whereas the growth mindset believes I can be what I want to be. I can learn something. I can transit. I can improve. I can get better. Even if for whatever reason I found myself in this situation, I can get better. That's just the summary of this guy. This guy feels when I'm frustrated, I persevere. But this other guy feels when I'm frustrated, I just give it up. And you know, the world we live in just now is a world that I've got no space for the person that gives up. Because there's too many persons looking for too little opportunities. So if there's any person that gives up at the slightest hindrance or difficulty, then better for the other people because -1 in the competition. So I'm trying to tell you, you need to ask yourself where you belong. And this other guy wants to challenge himself. Whereas this other guy, well, I don't like to be challenged. I'm just who I am. Now, when I fail, I learn. But this other guy, when I fail, I'm not good. Now, this other person wants to keep trying, wants to succeed, wants to get better. And there's something very instrumental about this guy. If you succeed, I'm inspired. But this other guy feels I'm threatened when you succeed. So I want you to ask yourself, and let's start this session with a mindset shift. If you've been in this region, I want you to just reconfigure your mindset and get yourself to the growth mindset and know that you're going to put in work to achieve what you want to achieve. Life isn't going to give anything simple, nothing on the platter. You need to work, you need to spend before you can achieve your dream. Now, having said that, let's go straight. I recognize the fact that in this session, we've got three broad categories of persons. There might be people that are just leaving uni or people that are just wanting to transition to analytics. We'll try our best possible to accommodate that level, and some persons that want to upskill, and some other persons that you're at it already, you just want to kind of enjoy what we're talking about. Everybody, we're going to accommodate. I always like these slides when I talk about analytics space. The reason is because life is changing, and many persons haven't recognized that. I know I'm speaking to a very diverse audience today. Lots of persons that maybe Nigerians, non-Nigerians, Africans generally, you are in diaspora in the US, in Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, or Nigeria. And I was listening to somebody's talk on TikTok, and the guy said, if you're a Nigerian, if you're an African, a Ghanaian, and you're in the UK, he said, when you work, you don't work like the way our parents work when they move to these countries. Then they were working a lot with their muscle, a lot with their strength, physical agility. That's exactly how they made money. But in the current climate right now, you don't need so much of physical agility. You need it more of mind and mental. So you notice that lots of repeated tasks is all coming down because it uses low cognitive skills, low thinking. It's just repetitive. So long as you have the strength, you can do it. However, the trend is changing. The trend now is going to non-repetitive tasks that requires high cognitive skills, where you use your mind. Now, some persons, they work in their houses. They don't go out of their houses. They just stay in their house, turn on their computer. That's where they are working in this country. And they even earn more money than the person that goes out every morning, use all the strength, all the muscle and everything. You need to recognize the fact that things are changing. And then in the UK, as a typical example here, this is just a trend, a projection of the jobs that are going to be available in the coming years. And one thing you would notice here is that this lighter blue line is the current workers. Now for the additional, you would notice how much more jobs that are coming in the analytics space. So what that's telling you is that there's lots of jobs. You just need to get yourself ready to get the job that you want. Now, let's come back home. We're talking data analytics today. What exactly is data analytics? Now, when we discuss data analytics, it's a process or is a science of taking raw data, unclean data, messy data, dirty data, and you're trying to clean it, you're trying to prepare it, and you're trying to analyze it to be able to get some conclusions or some actionable insights. So data is not just we build charts, we have visualization. The point there is you need to get insights, things that you can say, based upon the data, I will do this or that. Now, one of my mentors in the space will always say, he will say, in the space, we're not talking about faith or belief or experience. He just wants bring the data. What does the data say? And that's exactly where we're living now. So you want to take the data and identify, analyze, interpret trends, patterns. And today we're looking at different areas that we can talk about these things. If you're working in e-commerce store, for instance, you want to analyze the trend. How have you been performing? How have sales been going? If you're working in say in education, you want to understand where are the students coming from, which of the geography are they coming from, which courses are they coming from, so which courses are they not coming for? And then you can be able to streamline your processes so you can make more money. And this data is always complex. It's always, most of the time, dirty and messy. You need to be able to clean it. And whatever you're doing as a data analyst, you work side by side with the dream, with the goal, with the strategic direction of the management of your organization. Now, this is data analyst. Assume this is you, for instance. So this is what you do. You have lots of data. And when we go very deep into these sessions, we'll look at different types of data: structured data, unstructured data. What exactly are they? Semi-structured data, what exactly are they? And you take all of these data and you'll be able to clean them, process them, and analyze them. Say, for example, We're discussing politics, for instance, and there's lots of tweets about a particular election season. You gather all of the different tweets. There are lots of analysis you can run on these things to be able to say, what are the people saying? That's data analysis. Now, we'll discuss all of that as we get on. Now, when Victoria was introducing me, she did talk about COVID-19. Now, during the pandemic, there's lots of things happening, lots of cases springing up here and there. All of this data needs to be brought together, analyzed to know exactly what is the trend of this COVID-19 pandemic virus. Which geography, which region are we having lots of these things happening? What's the pattern? What does it look like? What's the trend? Can we draw some correlation? Is it causation or correlation? What's the relationship we can bring together? All of these things are what you try to analyze as an analyst. And then you create reports, and then, or you can create dashboards. Now, one thing about creating reports is, many years ago, what you do as an analyst is to write like a report, which is generally going to be a static report, maybe Word document or PDF file, and you give to management. However, at the point they look at these things, some of these things might even be stale. The information there might be stale, the data, the insight, and all that. But in our current climate, what we do most of the time, we'll have real-time interactive dashboards. So what that means is this: the dashboard is going to be built in such a way that it is interactive. So it's not you just creating only one chart and put in the report and give to your manager. You build a dashboard so your manager can actually go and self-serve, call it self-service BI. So self-service business intelligence, so they can go in there and whatever they are interested in, just by the click of one button, two buttons, three buttons, they can get the exact insight that they require. And then you can build your dashboard in such a way that you have some bullet points of different business insights that you want them to look at. And as we get on in this session in more detailed class, we'll be discussing the difference between just building visualization and telling stories. If you're an analyst, you need to know what it means to tell story with data. You know, it's interesting when you have a coherent story, like you're watching a movie. You watch some movies and the movie, everything is so disjointed. You don't enjoy it. Now you watch some other movies, you see from scene 1 to scene 2, it's so connected and coherent. So you tell a story. Those are some of the things you need to learn as an analyst. Now I've given you a general overview of what data analysis is, what data analysts do. So right now I want to talk about how can you transition, how can you become a data analyst? Remember I said I won't take too much time on my slides because I want us to go to build a dashboard. Number one, you need to talk to people who have the job that you want. That is very, very key. And then you need to try to get a mentor. So this also connects to this. You research the training you need and compare your training options. So in Telenavis, for instance, we've got training that we'll be talking about as we get on. There are many other training opportunities, masters, there are different things. You look at all of these things, then certification is another good thing. I'll talk a little bit about that. If you want to upskill in education, then get hands-on experience. There's nothing like what you've done. Tell me is different from let me do it. Let me get my hands dirty. That's what sticks a lot more. And then you'll be able to get some of the skill gap that you need to improve upon. And I like this part that says, be patient. And you can see it's repeated, be patient again. You see, things about time. But one thing I said to people is, where we have a problem sometimes is, we allow time to work, but we're not working. So it's two things. So you work and you also allow time to do his job. And that's how success comes. And for you to be successful, you need to be ready. Because somebody said, what is luck? He said, luck is the opportunity that mixed with readiness. Opportunity might come right now. If you're not ready, you cannot leverage on that opportunity. You cannot be successful. But what we're trying to say in this session is this. You need to be prepared so that when any opportunity opens, you strike and you're there. But in all of these things, you need to do the work and allow time to do his work. That's how life is, you know. What are some of the things that you're going to develop as we progress? Analytic skills, communication skills, critical thinking. You have a deep, wide amount of data, disparate sources. You need to be able to think to make sense out of all of these things. And you need to be able to pay attention to details, computational skills, and then technical skills as well. Now, there are different skills and tool sets that you use in the space. Microsoft Excel, that is fundamental. And that's what we'll be demoing today. Power BI, Arrow, Python, SQL, Visual Studio, this cloud technology, Azure and AWS. Then we have collaboration tools. This is also a BI tool, and this for presentation. Now, I've put this there, and there's something that I put at the back of this to say that these tools are free. Now, everything you see here, you can have all of them for free. Now, when I say for free, it's not like they're 100% free, but many people that are students, you have access to Excel, you have access to Power BI. Even those that are non-student, almost everybody have the Microsoft in their computer, in your laptop, so you have access to these things. SQL is free. Power BI, you can have free version. Python is free. Arrow is free. Jira, you can open free account. GitHub is free. Tableau, you can have free. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. In the current climate, in the digital space, all that you require is the mindset change for you to get what you need. It is no longer about the money. I remember a couple of years ago, you pay money to even get software, or you go and start cracking software for you to have access to them in your computer and pay another money to learn. But right now, you don't really need to start worrying about paying money for this software, because all of these pieces of tools that you would require in this space, you can get all of them for free. Okay, so let's progress right now very quickly. Now we're talking about certification now. So just to mention, you don't really need to show your video, so you can take off your video while we get on in the session, okay? So now, certification. Now, when I did the certification, I always like to show this because you can do lots of certification for free or next to nothing. And while certification is not what gives you the job, it kind of validates your skill set and takes you up to the panel for you to be interviewed. I did this certification, then it was 165, and I did it for $15 because they were having a kind of bonanza kind of thing during the COVID-19. And there are some other links, there are some other sessions that you will attend, which will show you where you can obviously get some of these things for free. Victoria, please, can you help turn off the video? We don't want anybody showing video. Uma, will be good if you can turn off your video. Uma, please, can you take down your video? Thank you very much.
Let's continue.
Right. So now let's continue what we're discussing right now. Now, I've shown you one certification that I did. These other ones, I did them completely free. Azure, as well as data fundamentals, all of these certifications, I did them for free. We'll show you some of these links, give you some direction on how you can do this. And the last thing here is consider having a portfolio. Now, we have a website at IntelliNavis Careers, and a section of our website is for use cases, for case studies. And the people that come in our platform that would train, what happens is when you build some of these projects, we are going to upload some of them there. And what happens is this thing is going to be hosted on the website. So with your name, your details, your face, and the things you've done, so you can copy the URL and put it in your CV. So you can showcase what you've done to potential employers. In my own CV, I've got URL in my CV because people want to see, they want to be sure that what you say you can do, you've actually done it before. And that's the purpose of having these things. Now, there are other platforms where you can showcase your portfolio. We'll talk about all of these things as we progress. Now, in this section, data analytics, job, climate, and reward. I don't want to use PowerPoint slide here. I want to go to the web to discuss this session. So very quickly, I've just opened this website. If you help me confirm that you can now see a website instead of PowerPoint slide. Perfect. So now, this is one very popular job site here. I'm just going to put data analyst, the keywords, analyst, data, Excel. I can put SQL or any other thing I want to put, Location, I'm just going to leave it open. So both remote and non-remote job, all of the sectors. And I'm going to say, okay, for the past 7 days, we want to see how many jobs is going to show to us that are available out here for you to go for. Now we've got 8,381 jobs. So if you're going for, say, business or data analyst with SQL, Excel, big data banking, so you with 5 years plus experience, obviously in this one, you can start targeting this kind of earning. Now, this is Tableau, for instance. Now, this has asked 2 to 3 years experience. You see what the potential earning here is. Now, if you go for this as well, this data analyst in healthcare, business objects, and Microsoft Excel. So this is what your potential earning is going to be. This is for junior category right now, this potential earning. You come here as well. So I said to myself, I'm not going to just be telling you what the rewards are like, what the jobs are like. I'm just going to go in a website and show you what it is for what it really is. And when you look at these things, this is no fluke. This is real. These are real jobs that you can prepare yourself and go for and apply. If I check this other website now, this is a different website, CW Jobs. This is just data analyst I'm going to put in here, nothing more than that. And I'm going to ask you to search and look for the jobs that are open in this space. So here I've seen 139 jobs on this website that you can prepare yourself, get the training that you require, and we'll work with you to package your skill, your CV and everything, and you start applying for these roles. Now, I like to share this because I'm coming from the energy sector as well. I've worked in the oil and gas sector. I've worked in education, in ed sector, in public sector, and all that. And I tell people that in the current climate, even in the oil and gas sector, we have more jobs in analytics than even the core petroleum or geology or whatever. Now, while you can see there's lots of jobs, yeah, these are more technical jobs for those in the field, but I want to show you things that are nothing connected to oil and gas that you can go work in BPS. This is procurement analyst, for example. This is digital enterprise technology engineer. Now, this is graduate digital data and performance analyst. So what this means is getting these trainings, getting to be able to grow yourself, develop yourself as an analyst, you can begin to go for jobs like this. And you're working in BP without, you don't need to be a petroleum engineer. Now, this is product manager. Now, this is financial modeling. This is data engineer. Remember, data engineer, it doesn't mean you're being like mechanical engineer. This is data, IT we're talking about. This is data engineer. This is data scientist. Now, I decided to show you all of this so you understand what I'm trying to say. This is analytics and insight manager. This is BP, mind you. Now, so when you look at data analytics job generally, you see that we have lots of opportunities right now. But my question is this: in the midst of all of this opportunity, why people are not getting this job is because, number one, or the principal thing is because you don't know how to present yourself. People generally don't know how to present themselves. Now, when you see 2, 3, 4, 5 years experience and you're like, well, I haven't got that and I'm not going to go for it. The truth is this: you need to be able to leverage your past experience, look at the things you've done that are in tune with analytics, and be able to use them to demonstrate what you've been doing before and put everything as combined experience. These are some of the things we're going to walk through with you. And it's very, very instrumental for us to know that every one of us, we've been doing these things, whether you know it or not. My little girl is in P3 here in Aberdeen. And one of our assignments last week, you go on the platform, she's doing her assignment now, and there's going to bring like a bar chart. And in the bar chart, they have different categories, and they're asking her which is the highest person. And I said to myself, like, seriously, this is P3 girl that's already learning data analytics. And she was finding it difficult to interpret the bar chart. So I came and I looked at it and I told her what to do. Immediately I told her what to do. The other questions that came, she knew exactly how to know if this is higher than this. You subtract this one from this one, then you know by how much this is higher than this. That's exactly where it's coming from. What am I trying to say is this: we need to know how to leverage what we already have for what we want. And that takes me now to the end of this set of presentation. Let's go to the interesting bit. Let's go to our demo. So let's go to Microsoft Excel right now. Now, the assumption is this: we are working here and they've given us this piece of data and we need to analyze this data and we need to present this data in an interactive dashboard. So what we're going to do? So the first thing is, this looks like this. Just to make your data looks like a table form, that's the first thing you do. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So making your data or your table, which comes in maybe a CSV format or an Excel format, to make it to be the form of a table, you just click on table or you just say Control T. So Control T makes it a table and then you choose the header. So this is the header, for instance. So here I can see all the different categories. So I've got different retailers, Bevco, Dreamco, and all of that. Then this is the retailer ID. All of these IDs, we'll talk about this in more details when we're doing data models or we're doing SQL, SQL, where we talk about foreign key, primary key, and stuff like that. Now you can see this is a date column, this is region, so you can see the different regions that we're dealing with and the different states and the cities alike and the different types of beverage. So, but the point is this: we want to analyze this data. That's essentially what we want to achieve. So I've shown you what it is that we're trying to represent. So I've shown you this is more like what we want to do today. So how do we go about this? That's the main thing that we're talking about right now. Okay, so we're going to continue, and just for me to take a break, I want to know if you're following me and if you're ready for us to go with this demo session. If you're there in the chat, can you just type 7777 so that I know that you're alive and fine and with me? Right. Thank you very much. I see everybody seems to be fired up for the session. That's absolutely fine. So I know that I'm not alone. We're together. Perfect. Now, first things first, I've got my data set as a CSV, and then I just put my finger on Control on my keyboard and I type T, Control T, and I select that I want it to have an header, and that settles this. Let me demonstrate what I just said. This is me. This is you. This is we. I'm just trying to illustrate something. Okay, so if you have a table like this, you want to make this a table, Control T, you just Control T, and then you say it's got an header. Yes, make table, it's got header, it will go in that format, that's all. So that's the way you see if you've got a CSV file and you want it to be in this form of a table, it goes like this. So this is nothing just now. I just wanted to show you that. So let's delete this, let's go to where we were. So that's how we have got this. So I'm going to just rename this thing and call it our data. Now, if this is the data, how are we going to build this dashboard that we want to build today? So we're going to build maybe 2 visualization for the sake of this demonstration. And we're going to be using a pivot table, pivot chart. That's the method we're using today. But let me create something like a land. This is the space where I want to do all I want to do. So I always like to clean this thing up and call this my dashboard. I don't need to use block. So I call this my dashboard, and to make sure that it looks pretty much like a normal dashboard, so it doesn't look so much like Microsoft Excel. So this is your normal Microsoft Excel. If I come to view, if I come to this tab here, view, so I can remove these grid lines. So if I remove these grid lines, so it's going to be clean like this. Yeah. So when it's clean like this, I'm like, okay, this is looking more like it. This is looking more like it. Now I want to make the top, just make it look good, so I can align this thing. In my screen, AC is where I just know I like to stop. So I'm going to take like how many 4 rows and all the way to AC. Then I come to home, and what's the color? So I've used a deep blue for this illustration. It depends on maybe your company or the color of choice, but let's keep it as it is. Let's keep using that deep blue. So I can come and just give it a color. Choose any color that you want it to look like. So let's give it this blue, for instance. Now I've got this. You've got your company logo. I'm going to insert picture from this device, and I'm going to pull the logo of the company. Where's our logo again? Yeah, it's here now. And I drag this here. Can make it smaller. So I think it's looking good, it's taking shape, and I can give it a name. So if you're using Excel before, you know what I mean? So we're going to use some merge right now, merge and center. So if I take 2, for instance, and say maybe I take it up to L, and then I do merge and center, I can call this my sales or performance dashboard. Depends on what it is we're doing. Yeah, that looks good. Well, let's make it better now. So I'm going to change it and put this as white. Make it bold. Make it bigger or something. We can give it 40 maybe. 28 is not bad. So we're getting somewhere. And as we're doing this thing, I always tell people the way your dashboard looks, it depends, number one, on what you want to achieve, and number two, your flair for aesthetics. Some persons are very good designers, and when you see that dashboard, it looks so sweet, so nice to view. So you need to kind of build that skill as well as you get on. So when I look at the data, I begin to have an idea as to what I want to achieve. I can think, how do I want to analyze this thing? So number one, I might want to get some very, very high level overview, insight, say maybe the total sales that we've made, because in this place, I've got the price per unit, then I've got the units that are sold, and I've got the total sales, and then the operating profit, then the margin is here, which is in percentage. So I want to get an overview, very high level. And what do I want to get? The total units sold. So I think it would be a very, very good thing to get the total units that's been sold. That would be a very good insight to give. And also, what's the total sales? How much was actually sold? That would be another very good thing to give. And it will also be good to give like operating profits. Yeah, I think these things will be very, very good. So what am I going to do to achieve all of these things now? I come to my dashboard and I say I want to get the total units sold, for instance. So I can put that somewhere here. If I take maybe 3, and then I call this total units sold. Right, so let's make it white again. Let's make it bold again. Let's make this thing 16 maybe, or 18. Yeah, and I think I like it bold. Okay, so this total units sold. So whatever it is, I'm going to bring it here. So I can clearly just mesh, so I'm going to put something there. Let's progress. So apart from total units sold, let's see total sales. So if I come here again, so I've talked about total sales. Yeah, this is the unit. So we're going to have the total of these ones. And then let's see what's the total sales, the sum of the total sales. Let's see what that's going to be. I think that makes sense. So in everything that I'm doing just now, we're doing it together. This is not me. So we are doing it together. Let's merge this and let's call this total sales. Now we're gonna do some formatting. No, that's not what we want. Yeah, we're gonna make this bold again. Or you can just copy this thing and you see this here, format painter, bring it here, and it just changes it to be the way that one is. So it's kind of copy and paste the formatting. So I can give myself another side again and say, at this point, I probably want something else. Let's say total operating profit, maybe. What's my spelling of profit again? So if I take this and I'm like, okay, just give me that formatting. So that's it. But let's reduce this so it looks okay. Right. So I can make this ready for what's coming. Yes, please. That question for me? Make this ready for what's coming. Yeah, I think we'll have something ready for what's coming. Okay, so that's the first general idea that I think we want to go. So at a very high level, we can see what exactly it is. So to achieve all of these things, click anywhere here. If we click anywhere here, and then we'll be using pivot table. If I come here, power pivot, no. This table design, no. So if I come here right now, and where's my pivot table again? So in this place right now, we'll be using pivot table to do everything we want to do in this case. So pivot table is what we'll be using to do all of our design and all of our analysis. So that's where it all starts from. This is exactly where it all starts from right now. So all of this tab, as we get on in all this section that we'll be doing, we'll discuss a lot more about what they are, what we use them for, how it all goes. If you're in certain page layout, formula, we will discuss all of this in details. But let's just start from this for the sake of today. So now let me take and create a pivot table right now. So when I insert and I create a pivot table, so it's going to ask me, oh yeah, this is table 1. Where is it going to go? Let it go to the new worksheet. So it will create a new worksheet for me. So I can say, okay, so this is a new worksheet. So what I can do is, depends on what I've got in mind. Let's say I've got in mind to build 3 kind of stuff. So I can rename this thing, and I'll say this will be for the key metrics. So I like to bring this to the end here. Yes. So this is just me. If I put my finger on control and drag this, it will create another one. Drag again, it will create another one. So let this be the key metrics. Then let this be like, it depends on what we want to create. Let's say monthly sales. We're going to create for monthly sales. And this will now be sales by geography. So this could be sales by geography. So let's get something out now. So if I come here, when you look at this pivot feed, so this is exactly what you use in creating everything you want to create right now. This is simply what you're going to use to create everything. So the question is, what exactly did we say we want? We said that we want units sold, the total of the units sold. So if I come to the unit, so this is the unit sold. I'm going to put, when I put it here, it will sum everything up for me. So I can see the total units that were sold here. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see. So this is the total units sold. What else do I want to see? We want to see the total sales. So part of the key metrics that we want is the total sales. So if I come here, total sales, right? So that's the total sales that we have made right now. What else did I say we want to see? In the dashboard, we also want to see the total operating profit. So this is operating profit. So if I drag this here, it gives me that. So I've got these very key values, but I want them to look more like what they are, currency. Okay, and with the comma, so it can look nice in the eyes. If I like this thing, come to general, and then I say make it currency. So I'm going to make a statement here. The data actually is in dollars because you will see the location is the United States, but the UK will just put pounds. So pardon that, just allow the pounds and assume you're seeing dollars. Okay, so we all know the decimals are important, but for now, let's just take out the decimals. Let's make it easy in the highs. So this looks good right now. Watch what I'm going to do that makes it interactive. This is the total units. This total unit, I'm going to say, is equal to total units sold is equal to this, and I'll say enter. So that's here now. Let's just format it and make it look good. So what I've just done is this. You can see what this is now. Another way to achieve this is, let's say I've just got this. This is already here now equal to, so I can format it on its own as well. So I can format it on its own, make it look good in the eyes. So what now happens is this. We can see exactly this is the total units. So the total units, is that currency? I think that is not currency, so I'm probably not going to put this currency there anymore. So it's just going to be general. So we have this total units sold. So we've got these total units that we've managed to sell. Okay, that's good. So if I come here to this data now, so this is the units that sold. We now see the total. So management can see what is the total units that's been sold. Now let's go look for something else in our key metrics. So here in our dashboard, we want to know the total sales. So this is going to be equal to, if I go to key metrics and then I say the total sales is going to be this right now. And then I say enter. So I'm going to copy this thing, copy this, and it will help me give this what I want. So this is the total sales. This is now the money that we're selling. Okay, this looks all right. Now let's go for profit. Equals to, let's go for profit now. Now this is profit. Okay. All of these things depends on what you want to do, how you want it to look. So now you would notice that everything is coming from the other side, but this is the dashboard that we'll be sharing in a moment. So let's continue with what we're doing. So we have this, and I'm like, okay, this looks all right. Let's try to build some, we've done these key metrics. Let's try to do some monthly sales. Let's see what's happening. Monthly sales. Let's see what's happening there. It's like a trend that we want to build anyways. Monthly sales. So we're going to take the sum, the total sales right now. So let's say this is our sales. So these sales now, let's get the total. Now when we come here, we want to put it by month. So it all depends on what we want to achieve. So this invoice date, so this is the date that we'll have. So we've got something like this. Now, there are some instances where you don't want this thing to be aggregated this way. There are different things you can do. So I can, for instance, come here and I can say on group. So when you say on group, it will disaggregate it for you. Yeah? Or if you come here as well, you can remove some of them here. Let me just demonstrate what I've just said now. If I ungroup, so you see what I mean now. So if you want to look at the trend. So if I want to get a trend, so I can now try to get a kind of chart that really gives me what I want. So if I come to this analyzer, so I can ask you to give me a pivot chart or recommended chart, for example. So it will recommend some chart for me, or a table, sorry. So this is the chart now. So you can see what it is. So let's try line, for instance. So we can get something like this. So you can see the different profile of our sales, but this is not actually what I want to do. This is not what I showed to you. So earlier, I showed you a particular dashboard which we're trying to do. So we've got this right now, which is good. So let me copy this thing and make it like a currency. So I just highlight it and make it like a currency. Then I'm going to come to pivot table analyzer, and I'm going to say, give me a pivot chart. And this is just the best for this kind of situation. We'll discuss a lot more about visualization, not to worry. Now, when you've got this visualization like this, you want to do some cleaning, you want to do some formatting. Number one, this thing looks too tiny. Let me make it a little bit bigger. I can come here. I can do trial by error and see how it looks, or I just make this to say 50, for instance. I think it looks good. I don't need this total here. I just delete this thing, just highlight this thing and delete. That goes away. Yeah, I can give it a name. So we generally don't want all of these things to be here. So if I take this and I say hide all of them, so it goes away. So it depends on what you're doing. There are sometimes we can put a call out here. So if I come here and I say, give me call outs, it will tell us the exact amount. Undo this thing, or I say, okay, just give me labels. It will just put them there. But for now, I'm just not going to do that. But let's make this thing looks good. Why do I label this thing? How do I label this thing? I can say some total sales by month. Okay, we're getting there. So make this thing looks good. It all depends on you. I can make this and say, if I come to home, I like to make this thing black for real. And then I like to put a line there. Put a line there. No, I like to put some not fill. Okay, I like to make this one there. So this line, I like to make it black. The same thing applies to this guy. I like to make that place black as well. Okay, so automatic, make this thing black. Oh no, that's not what I want to do. Okay, so when we are good like this, I can put border around this thing. Everything depends on what you want to achieve. You come to border, automatic, no line, or you say make it black, solid line. It's just going to be round about it. I can make this one black as well. Make it bold maybe. This one, make it black as well. Now, if this looks good in the high, yeah, I think it does look good to me. I'm just going to copy this. Copy or Control C, take it to my dashboard. And then this easily goes in here. So I can drop this here. So I can put it somewhere here. We don't want it to have any border, no line in the border. Yeah, so there's no line around about it. So this is number one that we'll have. So one thing I can do to this, to just make you begin to catch a feel of what we're trying to achieve today, is this. Now, I've got this particular visualization here just now. I can start doing a couple of things. Okay, so with this, I just say insert timeline. So I can insert a timeline for the invoice date, for instance, and then I put it here. So this timeline, let's put it somewhere here. Let's put it somewhere here. Drag it this way. So what does that do? It's going to filter what I've got on my screen. So I'm going to say I want only for this month. I want these 2 months. Okay, I don't want any filter. You see what I'm doing now? Now, as this thing looks, you can play with this. You can do some work on this thing, for instance. So you can just try to clean it up. So let's say I want to do some formatting, just anything at all. So it's always good sometimes to format these things just to give it the way you want it to look like. You want it to look like this, you want it to look like that. You can always do different stuff, but we're probably not going to spend so much time doing lots of formatting, lots of cleaning today. So, but you can clearly do all of those things. If I come here and then I say, I want to do lots of stuff and say maybe selected labels, selected periods, selected time blocks, I can format it. I can choose the color I want it to look and say, I want it to look at this very deep. Yeah, I come here. I can do lots of things. I can say maybe the header, format it. I want it to font. You can change font. You can do lots of stuff. Make it 12, for instance. I say, okay. Lots of things you can do. Border, whatever. And then I say, okay, now. So it's got a particular design that I've done. So this one, I can say, take this style. So it becomes this style now. So it depends on how you want it to look. The same way, I can even remove the border. I can say, come on, I don't want it. I don't even want any border in this thing. So I can say, okay, why don't we just design this thing so it doesn't have a border? All of those things you can do. You can clean it. You can make it look nice. If you come to the format, you can make lots of things look really good. Border, we say no border. And we put this like this, and then we okay it. We can basically do lots of things. So there's no border anymore. I can make this one, this place now, make it maybe whatever color I want it to be, but that's a lot about formatting. We'll discuss more about formatting in due course, but I just want you to see how interactive this is just now. Let's jump to look at something else. We've done key metrics. We've done this. Now let's do sales by geography. Let's do sales by geography. So the idea is we want to have this kind of map, and there's a little bit of a trick to be able to achieve that. There's a little bit of trick to achieve that. So now let's go. If I click on this, my pivot table that I've got in here, sometimes it's funny, it shows this because I've been playing with the formatting. Just click this at the top. You will come back to where you want to be. So that's going to settle it very easily. So the question is, when you want to plot geography, Microsoft Excel understands the name of these locations. However, it's got problem with UK cities. So that's one thing with Excel. So if it's UK cities, it's got some problem, but there's an arc you can use to achieve that. But this is the US. I think it understands the US a lot more. So we choose, is it city we want? Is it state? Is it region? But let's say what we want right now is state maybe. So we're going to take it to the row side. So state stays in row. So you can see all of the different states that we've got in our data sets. Now, which metric do we want? Is it the total units or the money that's been made or whatever? But you can choose, depends on what you want to show in your visualization. But let's say I want this one now. So this comes in here. Now I've got this. Perfect. But like I said, this will not plot in Microsoft map. So you need to do a simple arc. If I say equal to, take Alabama. So it sees Alabama, and then I come here, it will see the price or the total unit, sorry. No. So this is it. Then I'm going to drag it all the way. So it sees everything now. So what this means is this 2 column is actually like a mirror image of these other ones. So with this, I can get my map. So I can use different ways to get a map, pivot or whatever, but let's just insert something simple. Let's say we want a map, and I'm going to say map. So I've got this map right now, nice looking map. Once again, you can do lots of formatting, make it look good and stuff like that. Do anything you want to do. And in this map, it's quite interesting that you have a lot you can do as well. So when you come here, you can say automatic show everything, or you say show only regions with data, or you can do lots of stuff with it. All of this we could talk about later. Even series, you can choose the colors, the way you want it to look like, the kind of color you want it to look and everything. All of that will be discussed in a lot more details, but let's just go finish our dashboard we're building. I copy this thing, bring it to my dashboard. And then I think you will agree with me that the dashboard is looking good. If you agree the dashboard is looking good, let me see another, no, not 7 now. Let me see 2, 2, 2 this time. If you agree the dashboard is looking good. If I don't see twin, oh, it's looking good. Yes, thank you. Only one person acknowledges it's looking good. Yeah, it's looking good. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. You're there, you're there, you're there. It's looking good, it's looking good. Now, so we've got something like this now. Yeah, I think this is really looking good. I want to make sure it doesn't go out of the screen. Yeah, I always try to make sure everything I do is within the screen, you know, so people don't get to struggle and screw when it's Microsoft Excel. But, you know, this whole thing, we're going to use more tools to be able to build this thing. But this is what it is right now. All looking very good. All looking very, very good. Very good. So now let's see. One thing you would notice is if I say I want for only June, notice this did not change. This did not change as well. I want for June to September. Only this is changing, marketing there. So nothing to worry about just now. Let's put in some more stuffs so that we can have our stakeholders interact a lot more with what we've designed for them, so they can do lots of self-servicing, understand what we're trying to look at, what we want them to be able to do with our stuff. So if I'm here and then I'm in Pivot Chart Analyzer, if I click on Pivot Chart Analyzer, and then I can insert slicer. So the idea is we want people to be able to zoom into whatever they want. So if I click on this thing and I'm like, okay, what are the different description? So when we do data modelings and we talk about the fact table, like the start schema and stuff like that. So, but what I'm trying to say here is, what am I using to describe the data? For example, we can describe the data by the retailer and say, this retailer has this or has that. We can describe by the beverage brand as well. What else can we use to describe the data? Any person give me an idea? Somebody type something in the chat. So I've given 2, but I want to put 3. So somebody give me any answer there. What else can we use to describe the data? So you want to filter this thing as you're the management or you're the analyst. What would you want to filter by? What do you want to see the data by in all of this list of sliders now? What do you think you want to see the data by? I've said you can see it by retailer. You can see it by the beverage brand. What else can you see it by? Operating profit, no, that's a number. That's going to be an aggregation. So we want to look at, when you say operating profit, what would you use to describe operating profit? Yes, state is one good idea. So you can say state, you can say region. Absolutely. You get the point now. You can say, you can't say how much did operating profit make. You can't say how many sales did operating profit make, or how many sales did operating profit how many sales did operating profit sell? You cannot say that to unit sold as well, but you can say that to city. You can say how many units were sold in this city or in this state. So let's pick region, for instance. Now I've got all of this. Beautiful, beautiful. So I can bring this one here. Let me just bring this one here, for instance. Once again, I'm not going to do too much of formatting, making it look too sweet, too beautiful. And this is retailer. I think that looks good here. Yeah, this looks good as well. So I don't like anything that goes outside my page. I always like it to stay within. Okay, so now we've got this thing. Like I said, I don't want all this border showing, no line in the border. So this is our dashboard alive. So I can obviously put something here and then call it any name, maybe map of units sold, maybe. And then if I look at this series 1, why is it showing series 1? Let's come here, select data. And then I'm going to say this series 1, edit it. It should be units sold. So units sold is what you see there. So this one, once again, make it the way you want it to look like. Make it bold, make it black. That's absolutely fine. You can do lots of things. So let's go. If you look at these sliders now, this is changing. But what's happening? This is not changing. We have a problem there, don't we? So how are we going to solve that problem? Why don't I come here and I say report connections, and then I have a look at this and I see, hang on a moment, this is affecting this. Is it affecting this? Is it affecting this, for instance? So it's going to affect key metrics. It's going to affect this and this. Now, I want only this. Key metric is changing. This is equally changing. This is changing. I want this as well. I want this as well. Now, if I come here and say you to report connections, and I want you to also affect, let my key metrics be changing with you, and let my geography be changing as well. And you report connections, and then I say, I want this to change, I want this to change. And then I've got this. So at the close of the day, I can uncheck everything, so it shows me everything, but I want to see only Coca-Cola. Now this is Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola, the total price that was sold was this, and this is a profit. Just about a little below 800,000 pounds was made. Now let's see Fanta. How did Fanta perform? This is how Fanta performed. So for this same period of time, let's see how the Diet Coke perform. So you will notice how everything is changing with the click of a button. Now let's see only for the Northeast. This map could be very nasty sometimes, but yeah, so the map could be very funny based upon the regions, but it's a Microsoft issue, so it's nothing to do with us just now, but let's just allow everything showing the map. So all I'm trying to say to you is this: you can see how everything changes. Now, if you want to see for only May, everything changes. Now, if I come to this May, for instance, let's look at this as well. Report connections. This one is only one, so I'm going to come here as well. so that I can see for August. You can see what we made in August. Now this is zooming all the way. You can see how everything is changing. I want to see for only these people, you can clearly see what's happening. For only that people, you can close everything. And you now have this kind of beautiful dashboard that when you give to your stakeholder, they can see, they can easily filter everything to get exactly what they want. And when you finish designing this thing, what you're going to do is this. I'm going to here control this, and I'll hide all of these things because you know all of these are what we call backends. Hide all my backend, so nobody can see my backend. And you see this line as all of these row column headers. I don't want them. I go to view again. Where's my view? View. I don't want to see no header, so that goes away. Now I've got this very nice stuff, and I'm going to say share this, so I can share this easily. When I want to share, yeah, this I'm using a what worksheet or whatever. So you can easily share it with your stakeholders either within, and you can give them the right, whether it's a right for them to be able to edit it, work on it, or stuff like that. And when you've got this kind of nice stuff from the data, it was the raw data that we started with today, and you see what we've been able to build on it. So which you can filter, and you can see how everything is changing. You can see what is happening. This is only the month of September. You can see the total sales that we managed to get, and then you can see the total units, and this is the profit that we made in this month. So the manager will be like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's see everything. Let's see what's happening. And I can tell my boss, and I'll say, I can notice a trend here and a kind of seasonal pattern. So the seasonal pattern here is that this is kind of summer period, and the total number of sales we got in this period kind of peaked. So we made good job here, and then after that, when we get into the winter, it was coming down, and later during Christmas probably we also have another rise. And when we go to the new year, people have finished spending all their money and they haven't got no money to buy stuff anymore. So just joking, but this is where we've got the peak. So these are some of the stuffs. Now this, you can also beef it up with some more storytelling stuff. So maybe we can put some things here and say we've got a bar, we've got a KPI, and we know which, say the KPI might now be, say, 700,000, and then we can put a bar here so we can easily know who has gone above that or who has gone below that and stuff like that. So this is what we call an interactive dashboard that you can share with stakeholders, and they can see exactly what they want to see. And somebody is interested in this particular retailer. What's been happening with Dreamco? I'm going to say, Dreamco, let me see what you're doing. So Dreamco, you're not doing enough, because if I compare you to Bevco, I can see Bevco is doing better or whatever. These are some of the things that can be made. This one, pardon Microsoft Excel, because it would have also been nice for us to see and say Dreamco is doing well in Alabama or is doing well in California, and then we can say this one is not doing well in California or stuff like that, and we can begin to take decision and say, now what we're going to do is this, because they like Diet Coke a lot in Alabama, our inventory will begin to stock a lot of Diet Coke, and we're not going to be stocking Fanta because Fanta stays too much in the factory, because management want to know how we're going to deal with inventory, what will be in the warehouse. So this data, this analysis that you help them to come up with is what they are going to use. Now, if you know you've enjoyed us building this thing from the scratch, before I make progress, let me see 99999. So let me see 999. Oh, I can see 9 there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I can imagine that you will want to progress with this thing and understand this thing a lot more. So for that, there's a Google form right now in the chat. If you can help fill up that form, if you can help with that form, that would be very good. And then we can obviously see how we can support you progressively. Now the demo is all over. Let me tell you a little bit about our program at IntelliNavis. At IntelliNavis Careers, what we do is we're training the entire space, the entire spread of these different tools. So we take from the fundamentals, we treat the different stuffs in Excel, and then we progress to Power BI and Tableau to build this kind of interactive visualization that you can share with stakeholders, and you'll be able to obviously express yourself, what is it you're doing, and all of that. You know what I mean? So that's one major thing that we do at IntelliNavis Careers. Okay, 1 minute. Need to. Right. Okay. I'm trying to read the chat and see if I've got anything there. So if there's any questions, the questions can start coming in. Victoria is going to call the questions for me while I talk to you more about IntelliNavis Careers. So we're going to take you on all of these. We'll discuss SQL next week. Just to let you know, we're doing these 3 sessions again next week, and Mr. Tony will be taking you through SQL and Python. So that's what you'll be doing. SQL and Python is for next week. So the Google form, I think, is somewhere in the chat now. You can click on the Google form and you can put the information there, like a review of what we've done today and what your plans are going forward. So please fill the form and let's know how exactly we'll be able to help you and support you. So that's what we do at IntelliNavis Careers. So next week, as I said, Mr. Tony will be taking you through SQL, Python as well. So the both tool is what you'll be using next week in the masterclass. It's free once again, so tell your friends to join using the Zoom link. And apart from that, in our training, we'll also be doing some cloud technology. We're particularly talking about Amazon Web Service. For cloud, so we'll be doing AWS. And for collaborative tools that you'll be using, Jira, Confluence, SharePoint, GitHub, and Slack, you'll be using that. So somebody is saying, can we have a masterclass for Tableau? Yes, the answer is yes, but for this month, we've planned just 2. And the 2 we've planned for this month is Microsoft Excel, SQL, and Python. So we're going to find time where we'll be measuring on Power BI and Tableau as well, or Amazon Web Service. So the answer is yes, but not at the moment for this month. So we're also going to be having this work experience program that you'll be able to learn and build your skill. So in the course of the training, the point is that you'll be able to build your experience, you collaborate, you get mentorship, we do CV review, and we also prepare you for interview when the interview starts coming. And this is the general structure of what we do. So every Saturday, we'll be having 4 hours intensive training. And then every Thursday, we'll also be having another training session. Thursdays are shorter, like 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So we'll be learning tools every Thursday evening. So we're going to spend time to learn how to use Jira, how to use Confluence, how to use SharePoint, and all of those, and GitHub as well. So all those are the stuff that we'll be learning at those sections. Whereas on Saturday, it's going to be more prolonged. So everything I've done, I know I've kind of rushed through Excel today, but on a Saturday, we'll have time to really drill into this and do some more robust analysis. Now, in work experience, this is how the work experience runs. So our intensive training runs for 6 consecutive weeks. After that, you'll be having this work experience. And for the work experience, every person that comes on the platform, you will be given an account. So we're going to pay Microsoft Excel. You're going to, Microsoft. You're going to have Microsoft account. So the email you'll be using is going to be at intelinavis.com, not at Gmail. The idea is you're going to have access to Teams. So you can set up different Teams meeting for your collaboration, meet at your convenience, do your work, and also share files collaboratively. Either you're sharing using Word or Excel or PowerPoint or OneDrive or even SharePoint as well. So that's why you're going to be doing everything within IntelliNavis. So that's a Microsoft account that everybody gets. And then you're also going to be added to the Slack account for real-time messaging. So we'll be able to get to know exactly what you want, exactly how we support you. And for the job readiness, we're not going to wait until after the training before we start prepping you for interview or start doing interview preparation. No, as part of the process, we'll be having Thursday evenings where we come and while developing soft skills. We'll be discussing on how to write CV, how to write cover letters, job search strategies, and how to do interview preparations and stuff like that. And one thing very important here is that here you're going to have a community of learners, of like-minded trainers as well, people that are ready to support you, hold your hand as you progress in this space. Now, I like to share this success story. Now, I'm so thrilled by this man, and I think he's on the call. I'm not quite sure if he's on the call just now. So he wrote this review, and I thought I'm going to share this review. And the most striking part of this review here is that in less than 4 weeks after this session that we had together, I mean, this is an experienced IT professional in Nigeria. So he's moved into the UK, but it looks like the career climate here is too different and things were not going as planned. So this was not like he had to learn Excel, he had to learn SharePoint or PowerPoint. No. So what we did, the package for him is actually more of career counseling session. So that's exactly what this package is. So it's not training. So, and you can hear his testimony. In 4 weeks, he got a job as a team lead in a financial institution here in the UK. And in 6 weeks, he already had 10 job offers with 2 certificates of sponsorship. So it's not a matter of visa or no visa. Currently, at this time, was on tier 4 visa, but in a space of 6 weeks, already has 2 certificates of sponsorship. So job work permit was not a problem with 10 solid offers. And this other person as well, a student as well in the uni. So we got on the session, so preparation for interview and all that, got a 3 months placement. And this is very key for those that are students. When you want to get job experience, particularly say UK job experience, for instance, or wherever you are, Canada or Australia, you need to look at while you're studying, maybe during your summer holiday, there are lots of internship that will expose you to what exactly it is out there. So that's exactly what I did for this guy. And then he got this internship for 3 months. They sent him a laptop. He was working remotely, doing all the stuff. And while that was finishing, there was another opening again. We had coaching session and he got the job. And then he said to me that this is 100% success rate because the 2 interaction we had, the 2 things we pursued, he got both of them. Now, some people are asking about the price. Now, all of this package is put at £750, but we're not going to say £750 just now. So what we will be looking at is this. We're looking at £600, and £600 is inclusive of VAT, inclusive of the 6 weeks training, which is going to be every Saturday and Thursdays as well, and including the money you pay for tools, because using Microsoft services, we're going to pay money for all of that. And all the interview, you don't pay extra money for CV review, interview prep, only having a one-to-one session with CV review or interview prep. You can look at it out there, just a one-to-one coaching session in some space. You pay like 50 quid just to get that session. But this gives you that access to myself, to Mr. Tony. You can book session in our calendar, and then we can come to speak to you one-to-one, say maybe 45 minutes to tell you exactly what you need to know, which area you need to leverage to get what you need to get, and look at your CV, work with you through the CV, through the specific job. Many people look for job like you just throw things into the ocean like that. But job search right now is not like that. Job search is like job itself. You need to pattern your CV for the specific job you are looking for. Not one CV, you send it to 100 jobs and you expect they will call you for interview. You'll notice that instead of sending one CV to 100 jobs, spending time to prepare your CV and apply for only 10, you're most likely going to get called for 5. Instead of sending one CV to 100. All of that we'll talk as we progress. So I've said all that I want to say right now, and then I think there's going to be some more questions. If there's any questions, I'm ready to take questions, and I'm going to hand over to Victoria to take over the screen and talk to us about maybe Q&A, so we can hear people maybe ask their questions, have some more interaction right now. So if people want to talk, I think Victoria is going to share the remaining session. And Mr. Tony is also here to respond to any questions, as I think some hands are up. So Victoria, over to you. Maybe people are putting their hands up to ask questions or something. But I don't have shown the price, but we also have a payment plan which you can communicate with us. So we'll have a payment plan where you can pay in installment, because the program is actually 6 weeks plus 3 months. So it's like 4.5. So we have a payment plan that can be structured around your situation. But all of that, you can communicate with us, drop us an email, WhatsApp, go on our Facebook page. Please like and follow our Facebook page for more update of what we do. And you can drop us email or WhatsApp message or call us. But Victoria, over to you.
That was a superb section, Mr. Yakub. It's really so powerful. I enjoyed every bit of it, and I'm sure everyone did gain a couple of things. Practically, I did gain a lot of things as well. I was able to boost up a couple of my slider automation skills in there. That was great. So, some of the questions in the chat in there has been, how do I get the recording? Just so I reiterate, you can get the recording by filling the feedback form. We don't want to start copying each of your mail and not getting the right permission from you to send you an email, right? We are very data conscious people. So if you could click on the link in the email, in the chat just there, you're probably going to see a bit.ly link just in through the chat. Click on any of those links. It's the same link all through. And pretty much fill your email as well as your feedback for the program so far, including something you think you are interested in. And we would send this email to you, especially the recording and the transcription, if possible, including the data we use for this section. We will send it to your email. Again, we are unable to start copying individual email from the chat, considering this is a recorded class. We also would not want to infringe all your privacy. So if you could please fill the feedback form, that would be perfect. Okay, so the other question I am saying here is the amount, pretty much the amount for the class. Again, as Mr. Yakub said, it's going to be £600. This is inclusive of VAT and all the tools you're going to be using within the section. Ezra, I can see you dropping your email just now. Please fill your details in through the chats. Through the feedback form. Again, the link is just in the chat there. Just click on the link, go through the Google form or the Microsoft form, as the case may be, fill up your details, and we would be able to send this to you seamlessly because it will already be in a format and we can just send it up. Please avoid sending your email there. It's quite public. We are live streaming. It is not safe. Your details might just be out there because we are live streaming just now. I hope that is fine. I don't know if any other person have any other question. Is there any other question you would like to ask? Just before everyone leave, we have another section next week, Saturday. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely. And just to mention that there are some hands up, so you might call those that they've got their hands up as well, Victoria, as you progress. Yeah, well, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just going to check for people who have their hands up just now. Nelson, I can see your hands up just there. I'm going to unmute you now and you can ask your question. That would be, the next person will be Cheesy. Nelson, you have the floor.
All right, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Yakubu, for the wonderful presentation, and thank you, Victoria, for moderating this session today. I want to appreciate you guys, and also regarding the payments, the £600, you say it covers all the applications you listed.
Yes.
Talking about Slack, Power BI, Tableau, Python, everything.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay, and it's spread for, is for within 6 weeks.
So the training is 6 weeks. So in 6 weeks, every Saturday we'll have like 4-hour session. And every Thursday, we also have like 1 or 1.5 hour session to drill on different tools. That's for 6 weeks. And after 6 weeks, every person that did the training will now have access to their Microsoft account. So where they will be grouped into different teams based upon the different projects that we're having. So they will be in different teams for the job experience package. So in that team now, they all have access to the company Microsoft. So they all now begin to fix meetings to do different sessions collaboratively. So we're going to create the Jira board where we can have all of the different tasks, all of the epics that we're working on. And then we also have the Confluence where we use for the technical documentation. So they will manage this in themselves, but we will also be there to guide them through. So they will work on these projects. Now, when the project starts, every week you still be coming in like on Thursdays to present on progress. So it's like a scrum meeting. So where every week we want to see your progress. So you've been presenting on, maybe you're working on a particular data set, for instance, there's lots of cleaning that is required, and you come in and you update us on what you're doing for that space of 3 months, and we begin to give you lots of feedback and tell you what you need to do, what you need to correct. So apart from myself and Mr. Tony, we have some other experts that will come on the call to give all of this review and all of this feedback. And that session, to me, is one of the very, very important sessions, because working in academia, I've come to realize that there's lots of learning potentials when there's feedback from trainers. So because you think you know these things, I'm a lecturer and I've been a teacher for over a decade, so I know what it means. When you think this thing looks simple, give it to the students to go and do it. That is when students know this thing. Hang on. But it was doing this thing, you just click this button and it was fine. So that is exactly where you know this thing is kind of different. So that feedback session is where we begin to say, you could do this better, you could do that better. So it's very important that everybody in the training and doing their project comes in this session to have feedback. And at the end of the day, we'll now have the final presentation of all of these things. So which will now take this project to some of the clients that we have stuff we're delivering for. We'll have some projects I won't talk about right now that we are working on just now for clients that some persons will be coming on for. Some will be hypothetical, some will be real. So then we'll host these on our website. So as our case study, so you're going to have your name, your face, and what you've done, which you can copy the URL, put in your CV, so you can showcase what you've done. An interesting bit is what you've done. So when potential recruiters and interviewers click on these things, they can see your portfolio, and when they interview, you can defend these things, because we'll make you know these things, we'll make you do these things so that you can defend these things. So all of this is covered in that price, including Python and everything. Yes, it is. The whole idea is not just about the price, because if you go outside, you know that this is peanuts compared to what you see outside. But the main thing is being able to empower people, particularly when we have Africans coming to the Western world and still working with their muscle, still working with lots of energy, where right now it needs to be more cognitive. Right now, you need to work with your mind. So that's exactly where we are pushing the trend. We are trying to push the trend. It's a paradigm shift where you know that you're here in this world. It is not time to use the muscle that when our forefathers came, or when they were working, they were using lots of energy, and now it's cognitive ability, your cognitive prowess, your mind. That's exactly what you need to work right now, and not your muscle. So that's the main thing that we're trying to do. And that's why we say in Telenavis, we are pioneering possibilities. These things are possible, and that's exactly what we're trying to achieve. Nelson, I don't know if that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, it does actually. Thank you. What I was
Great.
looking at, I was thinking maybe the time frame, the 6 week, based on the fact that is weekly, basically Saturday and Sundays. That's weekends, right?
Yes, weekend.
Saturdays and
Saturdays.
Sundays. Only
Saturdays, yes.
Oh, don't you think the duration is a bit short compared to the number of applications you have on board for us?
Okay, so the duration is not short because we've structured this thing with exercises to go with it. So one thing again about learning is this. As a lecturer, there's what we call contact hours between the lecturer and the students, but that is not the total hours that is required to learn that module. So the contact hours is what we're giving you. As a learner, the best learner is the person that spends minimum of times 2 times 3 the contact hours with the lecturer. So that's the best students. So if I come to class and I deliver a course, a lecture on simultaneous equation for 45 minutes, the person that performs better is the one that spends minimum of 90 minutes after that class on simultaneous equation. That's where the difference lies. So if we come in a week and we spend 4 hours with you, and then you go back, within that week, you spend 10 hours again looking at these things. You come again, we spend another 4 hours, you spend another 10 hours. That's exactly how it works in the cycle. And when it now comes to when you've got project focused stuff that you're doing, you begin to apply these things. And that is when it begins to make full sense.
Okay, the project, sorry, I'm taking more time.
No, it's okay.
The project session is a different duration altogether.
Yes, that's 3 months. That's 3 months.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't get that? No, the
All right, thank you.
project is where you are using Microsoft, you have everything on SharePoint, you are organizing Microsoft Teams meeting with your colleagues, you are collaborating in real time, you are building stuff, you're getting feedback, you're getting corrections, and you still have the opportunity to continue learning with all of the different sessions that are happening. You're learning, you are applying. You're learning, you are applying. So it's not just 6 weeks, actually. So it's 6 weeks for, I call it intensive. That's what we call it. Then the 3 months, you're not just learning, you're actually applying at that point. So you're going to learn intensively for 6 weeks. You're going to apply for a period of 12 weeks. So, and for that 12 weeks, we'll be meeting steadily again to reinforce what we've done in 6 weeks.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah. So everything is total of like 18 weeks.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. I think
Cool.
that's clear.
Yeah. Okay, Cheesy.
Yeah, hi. Oh, thank you so much, Yakubi and Victoria. Thank you for the knowledge passed across. Please, I want to ask, should in case one gets a job while in the section or even after the section, do you still mentor through the job until the person is confident enough he or she can handle on her own?
Yes, the answer is yes. That answer is yes. I mean, I've got somebody that I'm working with. She's in London, and she would just call me and say, "There's this problem that she's working. She is working. So don't get me wrong that she's looking for a job, but her role is a kind of technical, and she will call me and tell me some of the problem. And after work, we're going to fix Zoom call. So we'll film Zoom call, and I'll try to. Of course, we know the bandwidth of what she cannot reveal from her company, but the kind of high level she gives to me, and I give her directions on how to go about it, what to do, and all of that. So that's absolutely fine. And I like to always emphasize that what we are building here is a community. So where it is not just you come and you go. We want a system where you don't come and go. You come and stay, and we build a community. While you stay for like 3 months, 4 months, you've paid, you've learned, you have a job, we still want to be together. The idea is there's a lot we can do. I say once again that we're pioneering possibilities. We want to cause a paradigm shift where we don't just come here and work with our muscles, where it's now our mind. So the wider the community, the more we can achieve this. Lots of persons are coming with tier 4 visa, and after tier 4 visa, what next? There's lots of support we can get. I was a student here, I did tier 4 visa, and after tier 4 visa, I went for a global talent. That's another thing that I help people with. So you are finishing and you want to go for a global talent. Yes, I'm a global talent person. So in the whole of the world, just a few persons get global talent. And that's immediately after my doctorate. When I started lecturing in the uni, I transitioned to global talent. So all of these are the different things you can get within the community. So it's not a come and go thing, it's a come and stay. And after your period of payment is, you don't need to pay because we are paying for the Slack. You are in the Slack channel. Some things might not be relevant to you, but some might be relevant. There might be a job where Cheesy has been with us for like 5 months. They need somebody, and Cheesy is just going to drop it in the chat and be like, they need a business analyst in my office. Anybody ready? And somebody has just finished the training, and we say, okay, please, Cheesy, can you you see, it is a community. You get my point?
Okay. Secondly, in terms of the certifications, I know most certificates are not really that necessary. So will you please guide us on the appropriate certifications to get as well?
So we will guide you on the appropriate certification. We are not going to give a certificate in the training. So we're going to make sure you learn and apply these things, and we'll guide you on where you can get Microsoft certified and also AWS certified. So we'll guide you in these things, show you where maybe instead of paying 100 USD, you are paying maybe 15 USD. Or there are sessions that Microsoft usually organize. So when you attend these sessions, they give you free voucher to take these exams. We'll guide you in that as well. What you need to do, the sessions you need to attend so that you can get voucher to take this exam, guide you in the exam prep, so you can be trained and being able to apply and being able to get industry recognized certifications to validate the skill set that you are putting yourself forward to potential employers.
Okay, thank you so much.
Excellent.
I
Okay.
can see a couple of people asking about the price in Naira. I am going to try to give a quick feedback on that. We all know that the exchange rate is really on the high side just now. So I would be putting this back to Mr. Yakub if there is a discount or if there is like
So
a ceiling price for people in Nigeria who are willing to pay in Naira.
yeah, Mr. Tony want to say some things.
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I thought Mr. Tony was going to talk, but for if you are actually in Nigeria and you're interested, you can get in touch with us. Just drop us a WhatsApp message or an email and we can have some conversation. So we can talk a lot about that because as you said, the Naira right now is not smiling. So, but we understand that. I mean, the main goal right now is to empower people. The main thing we're trying to do here is empowerment. So that is the underlying thing we're trying to do here. Absolutely, is empowerment is the underlying thing. I think I was reading in the chat. Did somebody say? I think the lecture was fast paced. Yes, you're right. If you say the lecture was fast paced, yeah, that's absolutely correct because it's a master class and it is time frame. I needed to demonstrate something. That's why it's called a demo. A demo is not actually a dev. I'm not developing, I'm demoing. So in the course of the training, it won't be like I'm demoing something. It will be like I'm training you and developing it from scratch, and we'll factor in everybody's level of knowledge and make sure that everybody's able to do it. And that person is saying, will you having this override what you already have on your system? No, it won't override. It won't override. And like my computer, what I do sometimes is I've got different profile or different browser. So what you'll be using is online Microsoft. You don't necessarily do not need to download it because you want to work collaboratively with others in your team. So you just share the link, SharePoint, and all those things. It's a web browser. It's kind of browser based, software as a service or online service and all of those things. So you don't necessarily have to in any way override what you have because we want to make sure we have the ring-fenced environment within Intel and Navis. So any person working will know you've got the email and you're using exactly what it is. So
right.
SCN's got an up again.
Yeah, so we have SCN has his hand up just now. SCN, are you there?
Yes.
You have the floor.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can hear you.
Okay, so I'd like to thank Austin Honorable for pulling me in. And again, so I wanted to ask a few questions, of which you've touched on one of it about the Naira equivalent and the possibility of paying into a Naira account. That's one that I would have loved to inquire about. Then secondly, it's possible to get a WhatsApp number so I can ask more direct questions.
I'd say just as a quick reply to that, ACN, you can send him an email generally. I would ask them to call their emails now and you can send them email. I think that would be more appropriate. I would really not, I think, but for sharing the WhatsApp number. You can then develop from the email conversation to WhatsApp on an individual term. But I wouldn't say we can start through a WhatsApp chat just now. So Mr. Yakub and Mr. Tony, they would call their email address and I would put it in the chat box just now. So you can pretty much send them an email and then interact with them if possible via email, if that's fine.
Yeah, emails can easily be sent to info@intelernavis.com. So you can send any email there. And if you go on our website, you can drop any information. And very importantly, the Facebook page. So please go on the Facebook page, try to interact with the Facebook page. We are posting lots of stuff, lots of tips there quite frequently. And then try to follow the page. And so the algorithm will know and begin to give you these stuffs when we post them. Yeah. Okay. Victoria, I think we're having a good time, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We seem to be. Is there anyone who has any other question, please? I see a lot of people are really concerned about the Naira point. Again, the easiest way to resolve the Naira issue is to just email info@intellinavis.com. Something we can do for people in Nigeria who are really interested in this course would be to put a ceiling price, right? So whether the pound is growing or coming down, it's just at a specific point, and then you don't get to overbeat yourself, right? Or pay way too much than you have, if that's fine. So again, to get an appropriate amount for this, please email info@intellinavis.com. Please, I have sent that in the chat. You probably will be saying that in the chat now. Scroll up or scroll down, whichever you are. It's info@intellinavis.com. All right, I think that will be it for today. Just before we round up, I would like to ask Mr. Tony, is it still there?
Yeah, he's there. He's gonna turn on his video.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay.
Sorry. I was just responding to a couple
All
of.
right, Mr. Tony, if you would like to round up for us, we just oh, okay. I was just saying that if you would like to round up for us, we have less than 8 minutes left just now, and we will want you to just round up, give your final tips. Again, we have a class for next week Saturday, and next week Saturday we would be discussing about Python and then utilizing SQL in pretty much modeling data and helping you interpret data using SQL generally. Again, that's one of the things I love the most, because sometimes you see from join from to where and then concatenate and everything, and sometimes when you start to consider joinings, it's one of the things and one of the biggest issues people have when it comes to join. You know, when you're trying to write join and then you start having issues with left join, or the joinings are not just making sense. So seriously, you really want to attend next week class. Again, it is very free. It's not paid for. The masterclass next week is free, so you can join us next week. While I round up, I am going to move on to Mr. Tony so he can wrap up the section. Again, if you have any question, please send your email to info@intellinavis.com. It's just there on the chat. You have the floor, Mr. Tony.
Thank you, Victoria, and thank you everyone for attending this session. As you mentioned, and as Dr. Yakubu had mentioned over the course of the presentation, so we're having another session next week, Saturday, same time also. Do join, and don't worry, even if you're just a novice or experienced, we will try as much as we can to break it down. Just join, and then the follow-up videos also you can watch. Fill the response form, the Google response form, get across, and then confirm if you want us to reach you, and then we'll send you the video. We'll also send you the data sets. Please do join, and once again, thank you very much for the time. We look forward to meeting you again. Thank you very much. And bye now from Intellinavis Careers, and do have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye, everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.